There's no point in carrying a load of water if you spend more time climbing. There's no point at all, because the trade-off isn't great enough. So you carry the water whilst you can still get optimum rates of climb. So the important thing is, if my thermal profiles are such that I get with a radius of turn of that, yeah, I can average 4 knots. And I can take that same radius of turn whether I've got water or whether I haven't got water, then if that's an optimum for me, then I can carry water because I'm getting more or less the same rate. In other words, if by turning tighter without water, I'm only getting an extra 0.25 of a knot or half a knot or something, yeah, and having to work a little bit harder for it, I may as well have the water. If, however, the lift is really, really steeped up, yeah, like that, and I can't get into that part, then I shouldn't be carrying water, because I'm missing out on the rate of climb. But luckily for us, it's not often like that. But what usually happens is we have a profile something like this, and late in the day, the thermals become flatter in their profile, and they become weaker. And what happens is that the rate of climb drops off a little bit, but it's got nothing to do with the water. And you can keep the water for quite a long time. You can keep the water almost to the end of the day, as long as you won't gain any advantage by turning tighter, because the lift profile is shallow at the top. Now, if the thermals become smaller, and therefore you need to turn tighter to get into them, then you get a big penalty for the water. Because if the thermals become smaller, and I'm now on the outside of the thermal, my radius is out, and I need to get the radius down to that, and I can only do that if I dump the water. So basically the water is there to enable you not to spend so much time climbing, and the moment you're spending more time climbing with it than you would without it, relatively speaking, yeah, then you want to get rid of it. The other reason for carrying water is you get much, much more inertia in the glider, and the technique's different, but it's probably a little bit too advanced for a lot of people, that we're talking about never slowing down. You hardly ever, in a modern glider, you don't really slow down very much. Whereas in the old days, you did all this stuff. You know, if you see people doing that, it usually means they're over 60. You know? And they learned to fly on something pretty old, pretty old Phoebus or K6 or something. In fact, the glider should only ever do that. It should hardly change its planform. When you watch a modern glider being flown really well, it just goes up and down. And the speed difference, if you're cruising at 90, you're dropping it back to 70. It's got to be really, 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 really strong and long to drop it back below 60, because you're losing energy. And energy you've had a lot of effort to put the energy in. You don't want to take it out, so you want to maintain the energy. And the principle is you've got to find the route that gives you the best energy. And so the important thing about carrying water is that you understand why you're carrying the water, and you understand that it's not the rate of climb, but it's the difference in the rate of climb you could achieve. So basically, it's a rule of thumb, especially if it's windy. As soon as the thermals get bumpy, dump the water. As soon as the thermals become difficult to centre in, dump the water, because you're losing out. But if they're getting weaker but they're still smooth, you might as well keep it, because you're not going to get much advantage from dumping it. Clear as mud. So, where do we go? We're approaching our time now, so I reckon that we have a short break.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll go on to some other stuff. Do you want to have a pee break? Get a beer, whatever, and then we'll come in.
Thank you.
10 minutes, guys?